The Civil Rights Movement. We'll start with a brief history beginning after United States Reconstruction. Many African Americans, while trying to make their way within society, were forced into a system of involuntary servitude known as sharecropping or tenant farming. This often reduced blacks to generational poverty. Furthermore, blacks were faced with a growing white resistance and violence ensued. Groups like the Ku Klux Klan and other white supremacist organizations engaged in lynchings, beatings, and burnings to enforce the new racial order. Politically, mostly in southern states, they gradually adopted a variety of methods and laws mandating the separation of the races. In 1896, a major Supreme Court decision was made in a case called Plessy v. Ferguson, where Homer Plessy sued because he was arrested for sitting in a white section of a rail car. The decision went against him, and it set the precedent that separate facilities for blacks and whites was constitutional as long as they were equal. The separate but equal doctrine was quickly extended to cover many areas of public life, such as restaurants, theaters, restrooms, and public schools.
The 1954 Supreme Court decision, Brown v. Board of Education, declared segregated schools unconstitutional.
It officially ended segregation, but it did not take an effect right away.
Segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
And the Civil Rights Sit-In was born.
The date was February 1st, 1960. The students' refusal to leave the counter launched an era of activism. The next day, 25 men and 4 women joined the sit-in. On February 5th, hundreds of students joined the protest, took the sit-ins on the road. Called Freedom Riders, these integrated groups challenged segregation laws across the South.
Peaceful protests turned violent.
Mauled by mobs and manhandled by police, stirred campus feelings from one end of the country to the other.
The Freedom Riders were promised protection by the governor, then abandoned by local police and beaten by the Ku Klux Klan. On March 7, 1965, it was the police beating demonstrators in Selma, Alabama.
Advance toward the group. See that they turn around and disperse.
And once again, images from television news moved the president to take action.
What happened in Selma is part of a far larger movement. Their cause must be our cause too.
As we fast forward today, some of the same scenes that was experienced during the Civil Rights Movement are taking place now in the year 2015.